Good morning, everybody. It's Phil Clark with Enable Special Needs Planning. Hope you're having a great Wednesday so far. It is Wednesday, so we're going to do another Ask Enable video for you guys for some questions that you have asked. And over the past couple weeks, we have gotten a couple questions, 2 or 3 questions on the timing of when families should begin planning. 2 weeks ago, I had a family ask, or somebody following ask me, when should we begin planning? Our child is young. When is the appropriate time to begin planning for their abundant future? And another family just this past week sent me an email asking me, we hear so many times that people tell us we need to start planning as soon as possible. There are so many unknowns that we don't know about the future. How can we even begin planning? And why should we begin planning this early? And so all of those questions are great. When I'm doing speaking engagements at conferences, I get a lot of questions that are similar to that. When is the right time to begin planning? So I want to cover that today with you guys. So our philosophy and my beliefs is that special needs planning, the main purpose and the focus of planning should be creating a purposeful and impactful life for your child today, tomorrow, and every day in the future. And I've said that so many times in our social media posts, in our presentations, and on these videos. You've heard me say that the purpose should be planning for today. And how are we making sure that we can create that purposeful and impactful life today and in the future? This shouldn't all be focused on the what if scenarios 20, 30, 40 years down the road. But that doesn't mean that that's not important. Because we have got to plan for those what if moments in the planning process, and we're not given tomorrow. So yes, we have to focus on the positive aspects of planning and making your guys' lives so much easier today and tomorrow, but we've also got to consider what happens if you're not here tomorrow. That's a tough conversation, I realize that, but it's one that we all must have because we're not given tomorrow. A year ago, I want to share a story to help you understand why this is so important. And unfortunately, sometimes these stories are hard to share and hard to think about because nobody wants to go there. But I had somebody call me who was a Facebook follower who I'd never talked before. And she told me, she said, my mom just passed away. I have a younger sister with cerebral palsy and I have no clue what I'm doing. I need help. And the more and more questions that I asked, and the further we got into understanding what was going on in their situation, the more I realized that they had had no conversations within their family about that transition time. What's going to happen to her younger sister when and if her mom is no longer here? And there was no financial plan, there was no legal plan. This older sibling was now thrown into such an unknown environment, and she didn't feel like she was equipped and prepared to properly love and care for her younger sister like she would want to. She said, I love my sister so much, but I don't know what I'm doing. And so, it took about a year time to help her figure out different government benefits and understanding different things. And there's a lot of aspects to her sister's life that I was able to help ask questions so that she could find the answers to. But it would have been so much easier if her and her mom would have sat down and said, this is what I have set up for you guys if and when something happens to me. And so everybody's got a plan. Everybody has to plan for the future, or we will end up in a scenario like this, unfortunately. So planning needs to be focused partially on these what if scenarios. We've got to plan because we want to make sure that our loved ones are prepared for that day in the future, whenever that is. We've also got to think about this abundant life, but we can't have the abundant life if we aren't preparing both the new caregivers and guardians and the individual special needs to live out that life of purpose and impact. So share this message with anybody that you think would be would be appropriate for, because I can't stress this enough that everybody has to plan. It's not something that we enjoy doing. It's not something that we enjoy going there. That thought process of what happens if I'm not here. Nobody wants to think about that, but we have to. And if we don't, we are setting ourselves up for a very hard time, a disaster in the future because we aren't planned. So Most of our conversations here are going to be about the great things that we can accomplish through planning. We're going to have these hard conversations sometimes, though, about if you don't plan, your family could be in a disaster mode sometime in the future. So share this with somebody that might need to hear this. If you needed to hear this today and you have questions and you know there are some things that are not planned for in your life or your child's life, call us. We would love to talk with you and share with you our process that is specifically designed to help prepare you for those what ifs. But it's focused on helping you prepare for a great life for your child who has special needs. Thanks so much for your time. Let me know if you have any questions. Still continue to send us your questions about this weekly Ask Enable video. We're having a blast doing this. Have a great week, guys.